My name's Kevin Hicks. Welcome to the History Squad. Now this video is all about what would happen if you were shot through the knee with an arrow. We're going back to medieval times to have a look, but I've been inspired by my own viewers' comments. Every time I did a medieval surgery video was, I was an adventurer like you and I took an arrow to the knee. Problem was, I had no idea what people were talking about. My son even bought me a sign for my back gate. Beware, danger of arrow to the knee. And I said, what's it all about? He says, Skyrim. Have you never played it? And I went, no. You see, the thing is, I'm not a gamer, right? So I had a look at Skyrim and I could see that the developers there, the writers of the script, had given a god an identity. And his throwaway comment was, of course, I was an adventurer like you till I took an arrow to the knee. Well, in the medieval times, if you took an arrow to the knee, did you survive? Could you soldier on again? What actually happened to you? So let's dig in. So Skyrim, it's a fantasy game, but it must have taken its inspiration from the Dark Ages and the medieval period. And that's where I'm coming from. You imagine then, you're in the medieval times, let's say a French soldier, bless him, at the Battle of Agincourt. An arrow hits him straight through the knee. He's down, he's out. But what really would happen to him? So we are talking medieval period now. This isn't fantasy. So what I've got is a model of a knee. Yes, Kevin and his models. So I'm going to run you through. I like that. I'm going to show you what a knee is all about. Now, I was amazed at this, and I had to take some professional advice from a long old friend of mine, Jackie Crump. She's a McTimony chiropractor from Barnes in London. She really knows what she's talking about when it comes to the joints and that kind of thing. So she talked me through the different parts of the knee. So this model, let me just show you actually, it works. Now, when I got this, I'm kind of walking around going, wow, this is quite something. But when you see just how much is in the knee, the pain alone from being shot with an arrow through it would be unbelievable. But let me show you how the knee actually works. Now, obviously, you've got the top part here, the femur, that bone there. And it comes down. You've got the fibula and the tibia. They're all there, but they're not joined by bone. They're joined by tendons and ligaments. Now, your patella, your kneecap, is just behind this enormous tendon, the quadriceps tendon, and it comes down to the patella tendon. Tendons, with care and time, can repair themselves, especially if you're young and fit. Ligaments, on the other hand, well, that's another story. So if you imagine then, an arrow is coming in, and what Jackie reminded me, the arrow wouldn't be coming straight unless it's shot by somebody who is lying down with a longbow. I don't think so. They come down at a downward trajectory, don't they? So that would hit the patella there, the kneecap. That is one strong bone. And as the arrow comes down, it will deflect. It could go into the bone, the tibia there, or it could skite around the edge. You got serious tendon damage, and that's going to take a long time to repair. But you imagine it's not a bodkin. You imagine if it's a broadhead. So let me change arrows. Here we have the lovely Type 16 arrowhead, razor sharp. So it's coming towards you, 100 mile an hour plus, goes in your quadricep tendon. They get it out, it's a tear or it's a hole. It might be able to repair itself, because don't forget these stretchy tendons, they've got lots of give. So they will immobilize it, cold compress maybe to get the swelling down. You might be lucky, it repairs quite nicely. But it's a different story if the arrow severs a ligament. Let me show you what can happen to your knee. So agonizingly, the arrow comes through the side, severs completely the lateral collateral ligament on the outside of your knee. This is what holds the top to the bottom. Now look what happens to your knee joint. Once that has gone, you've got nothing to stop it from toppling over. Inside, all of the ligaments are literally, as your leg goes, going to be torn apart. This excruciating pain, but also you are crippled. They can't stitch this. They can't do the surgery. As far as I know, they couldn't repair that. For in the medieval times, they simply didn't have the know-how, the knowledge. But what was missing on my model was the blood supply. And I thought to myself, let's add the blood supply. So you've got to turn it round, because my friend Jackie Crump there, she says, what if you were shot from behind? That's where there'd be some serious damage. So I had a look. Where's my arrowhead? If this went in to the back of your knee, even coming in at an angle, it's going to rip through ligaments. It's going to be absolutely horrendous. But running down your femur here, part of your femoral artery then becomes the popliteal, I think it's pronounced, artery. And you can see what I've done with all of this bits of wool is it's bringing blood supply all the way around the knee and then down through your lower leg into your foot. If somebody shoots you through that, you're done. You will simply bleed out. So taking an arrow to the knee, it's not quite straightforward as you would think. But would you survive in real life? Of course, the best thing you can do as a soldier or adventurer going to war is to protect your knee. You could wear padded hose, so you actually have thick padding going over your knee. Boiled or stiffened leather, a cop or a cup, just literally protecting your knee. Long leather boots like I wear. But if you were rich enough, you could actually have some kind of plate armor, poilines, which is a steel kneecap. It's difficult, though, to protect the back of your knee, because if you think about it, you need to have the movement. And if you try and block off the back of your knee, you're not going to be able to bend it. So that is a vulnerable part, the back of the knee, even if you're fully armored up. Amazingly, there are images from just at the end, in fact, just after the medieval period is over. And it's a whole series of drawings showing people with leg injuries and how they managed to get about the streets. It's amazing. Some of them have got stumps. Some have got the lateral movement of the knee. One of them is a chap who's put a sling around his neck, his leg, to keep his leg from wobbling around, and he's on crutches. Another one is of a lady. She's on crutches, but she's carrying a stool to rest her leg. So people simply got on with their lives, even to the point where they may have to drag the wounded limb behind them. However, there's a book, Medicine in the Crusades, that talks about a brace for the knee. It's simply copper alloy strips on leather wrapped around the knee. And Kevin has made his version. So I'm going to put it on my leg. Well, not mine, actually. I'm going to use my spare leg. So here we are with Kevin's spare leg. Every home should have one. As you can see, the wound has healed. So now I've made my version of the lead brace as mentioned in the book. There's not an original as far as I know, so I've just followed the description. We got the alloy strips, some leather behind. I'm going to slide it up over the knee. So I'm going to turn the leg over and tighten up the lacing. So what I've done is I've fastened this up. I haven't done it as tight as it could go. I didn't want to cut off the circulation to the leg. But once it's in place, it will, for sure, stabilise the knee. But if this was real life and you were a medieval soldier, you could get the armourer to make this. And he may use hardened leather, even boiled leather, together with the alloy strips going down. So it's fitted purposely for you. This will class you, I suppose, as a soldier. You will be a second-rate, a second-class soldier. So garrison duties, guard duties, that kind of thing. And then as you're standing on guard with your knee brace under your hose so people can't see it, you can greet people and say, I was once an adventurer like you, till I took an arrow to the knee. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video of ours. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to support our channel further, have a look at our Patreon community. The link is in the description. Now, before I go, quick shout out to some of our Patreon members. Now, I always write this down so I don't get it wrong. Here we go. Thanks to Alex Simba Wilson, John Hawkwood, #1 fan. Hey, what a handle. And Robert Brescini. I hope I pronounced that right. Thanks a million, guys. Bye for now.